You are now watching the Movie Juice Podcast.
The juice is loose.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Movie Juice Podcast. I'm Dylan.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm James.
Movie Juice! Movie Juice! Movie Juice! Movie Juice!
Juice the movie.
Oh
yeah? Support our troops.
that was more the election thing, I think.
I think that was pretty good.
Wait. I had something too. Fuck. Oh, my notes aren't pulled up. America, Jesus, freedom.
Today, because the election was 2 days ago,
Yeah.
we're doing the campaign. The Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis. I almost said Zach Ryder. Now
This
that's
is
not right.
this is back whenever Zach Galifianakis was like the big new thing in
Yeah.
Hollywood.
Because he hasn't been in shit in a while.
Will Ferrell was starting to be on the little decline.
It's his decline for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But this one was pretty good.
It's
a lot
fucking funny.
A lot better than I remembered it,
Yeah,
if I'm
same.
being honest. Now, do you guys remember the first time you saw this movie?
I rented it from Community Video, and I watched it on my laptop.
I want to say I got it from Redbox. 'Cause I remember I watched it with Mom and Dad both, but I think we just rented it from Redbox. But I never saw it in theaters.
I didn't see it in theaters. I think I saw this movie with Will around the time it came out, and I think Will might have been like at college, and I was down there seeing him, and we watched it together or something.
Right.
But yeah, because I remember like seeing the trailers for it, because there's a scene like the scene where he punches a baby.
Yeah.
That was in the trailer for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah.
And it's a good movie. Would you recommend going to the theater and seeing it if this is 2012?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you say, it's a Will Ferrell comedy.
Yeah.
Those were still doing pretty well in theaters.
Yeah, you couldn't really.
I definitely think like Will Ferrell, his hot streak is starting to go away.
Right.
Because like it's not that long of a movie, so you don't really have to kill a whole lot of time for it. So
True. It's literally less than an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like an hour 25. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
yeah,
I think, is this the year after The Other Guys? Is The Other Guys 20?
the other guys, I think it's
2010.
Or 2010?
It's 2000. Yeah. I almost said 09. I don't think that's right.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Or not that far back.
Because it's really the only other movie I remember seeing the Gary Sanchez productions on.
Yeah.
I took a note of that. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did any of y'all watch the extended cut? Because I only watched the regular.
No, I just watched the regular.
Okay.
I just watched the regular too.
Okay.
I watched it on my boy Kyle's Voodoo this morning.
Watched it on
Fandango
Amazon.
now.
Fandango now, you're right.
I watched it on Amazon.
So I didn't know the regular Fandango still existed. I typed in, because you can only do it from the internet. You can't do it from the in-app.
Yeah.
So I just typed in Fandango on my phone thinking it would take me to Fandango now, but it took me to like the actual Fandango website. And I was like, I thought this website was not in use anymore.
Yeah, same.
See,
So I actually had to type in Fandango now.
so I watched it at Sarah's house, and on hers it says Fandango now because the apps all say it, but on my computer I type in Voodoo, and that's how I get to it still.
Yeah, because when I typed in Fandango now, it still popped up on the phone as Voodoo. They're not marketing that, right?
I pulled it up
like,
on.
be the new thing or be nothing.
I pulled it up on Prime's app, but then I purchased it on the TV just to make sure. I tested it to make sure it was there first.
Right.
Yeah, it released August 12th, 2012 at the Traverse City Film Festival, and it was released nationwide in the United States on August 10th, 2012. The budget was $95 million, and the box office made $104.9 million. So,
Ooh, it just barely made budget.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
yeah.
So the returns were starting to diminish on Will Ferrell.
For sure.
Shit.
Yeah.
So it was 2012, right?
Yeah.
Is the Hangover trilogy over, or is there one more still to come out?
There might still be one more to come. 'Cause I think that was like 2013, maybe?
That's what I think too. I think it's 09, 11, and 13. are the
Yeah.
Hangover
Yeah,
movies.
because the second one still stuck with the Hangover format, but the third one went completely off script, and none of them had hangovers.
I don't think I've ever seen, or maybe I've seen The Hangover 3 once.
I watched it at my boy John's house on demand.
Really?
I never actually saw it in theaters, but I saw the first two in theaters.
Really, I did not see either of them in theaters. I like this is sidebar, of course. We do that here. I like the first two Hangovers that I have seen The Hangover 3 because that's whenever
John Goodman.
John Goodman's in it.
and fucking he has the giraffe in the beginning and he
Yeah.
kills the giraffe and shit. Yeah.
How about a giraffe?
Yeah. Okay, so I have seen it like
Yeah.
once.
Yeah, I've seen the third one twice. Once in theaters with my dad, and then I don't remember where I saw it the other time.
Fair enough.
But it wasn't at my house.
But you know you saw it twice.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
gotcha.
Fair enough. Like I said, I think I've seen it the one time because I remember like I kind of hated it because I hate how much of a shitbag Alan is in it.
Yeah.
Like he's always kind of a shit turd, but he's
Yeah.
like they turn it up way too much
Oh,
in the third
yeah.
one.
And then like it's not even about hangover. None of them have a hangover. They just get kidnapped until they need to get money.
Yeah.
Like they don't go partying and then they have to figure out what happened the night before like the other two. It completely defeats the purpose of being called the Hangover.
Agreed. Yeah. Do you guys want to go ahead and get started on this?
Also, they filmed it in North Carolina.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
cool.
so they actually did film in North Carolina. Okay. Well, that one
Hammond.
shot at the beginning when he's in the town hall, that's definitely the back lot because that's literally the same fucking square from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
You can tell that's the back lot.
Is Zach Galifianakis from North Carolina?
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Yeah, I can tell you where it's specific. He is from North Wilkesboro, North Carolina.
Oh,
No
wow.
shit. That's like close to
Yeah,
us.
yeah,
Oh my god.
That's where he was born, and he went to Wilkes Central High School,
Wow.
and Wilkes Community College, and went to North Carolina State University.
Wow. Shit.
No shit. Local boy.
Yeah,
That's what's up.
if you give me 1 second, I could probably tell you when all 3 Hangovers came out. Hangover Part 3 was 2013.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
cool. We got that right.
So it was 09, 11, and 13 probably.
Yep.
I was pretty sure that the first one was 09 because I remember it coming out when I was in middle school and everybody was like,
Because that
"Oh."
Christmas we went to Florida for Christmas
Yeah.
to see my sister, and I remember we bought it on Blu-ray and we watched it Christmas morning.
Nice.
Did you ever watch the movie he was in with Paul Rudd called Dinner for Schmucks?
Oh, bro, that movie's fucking hilarious. We have to do that movie at some point.
I've seen it once or twice.
That's
like, a
that's the
long
only
time ago.
movie I've seen my dad laugh like hysterically at. The
Really?
first time we watched it, he loves that fucking movie.
It's like one of the only few movies where I know Paul Rudd kind of plays
An asshole.
kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
The other one's Role Models.
Yep.
Role Models is like one of my favorite comedy movies.
Same.
I love role models.
So
dude.
fucking
Yeah.
funny.
The LARPing scene at the end is fucking awesome.
Okay, we got to do that one next
Yeah,
year.
it's hilarious. But yeah, so you guys ready to start?
Yeah.
Gary Sanchez Productions.
Movie starts.
Yeah.
War has no rules. War has rules. Mud wrestling has rules. Politics has no rules.
Yeah, I wrote that down too.
Yeah.
And then America, Jesus, freedom.
We have the exact same first 3 notes.
My first note is literally American Jesus Freedom.
Yep.
And then he's like, "How's my hair?" And Jason Sudeikis is strong, real strong.
Real strong.
He also says like, "What does that mean?" I don't know, but people love when I say it.
Already setting up that he just runs the gambit of all the political buzzwords.
Yeah, dude. It's so. I love how much they make fun of politics in this
Oh,
movie.
Yeah.
God,
Like, and you find out they're in North Carolina because I wrote
Yep.
North Carolina Rip. He's talking about his it's like the introduction where he's at the high school or whatever, and he's talking, making a speech.
Yep.
And it shows him introduce his all American family where he's got the son and the daughter and his wife, and she's
Yeah.
like the blonde pretty lady, and
His name's Cam Brady.
Cam
and
Brady.
he is the
He
Democratic.
literally has two first names to quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Or two names of quarterbacks.
and
he's
it's pretty
the-
timely for 2012.
Yeah.
He's the Democratic U.S. Congressman running unopposed.
On the 14th district of
14th
North
district.
Carolina.
Yeah.
North Carolina.
And gold on the ceiling by the Black Keys place.
Yeah.
Yep. And then and then there's a little montage of him doing his different little speeches.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Troops and veterans
are the backbone
Yeah.
of this
America."
nation.
I put everything as our nation's backbone montage.
Yeah.
Because he says farmers, the backbone of our nation, and he said the teachers are the backbone of our nation.
Filipino carnival ride workers are the backbone of
I
our
know,
nation.
Just kept going. Eventually, I just wrote everything is this nation's backbone, and then it says it'd be when he wins, it's going to be his 5th consecutive term, which is outrageous. But that's
Yeah.
how that works.
And I put, dude, Loki looks like George W. Bush. The way his hair was.
Yeah, dude. And then when he's giving that last speech, there's that lady who's like cheering him on, like, "Yeah, woo, Cam Brady, woo!" And then it cuts to him banging her out in the
Porta
fucking porta
potty.
potty.
I was like, yeah, not the porta potty.
Yeah,
It reminded me a lot of Talladega Nights. Please be 18.
Please be 18.
Because I put got some stanky on his hang down in the porta potty, real stanky.
Yeah. And then they knock on it. He's like, when it's rocking, don't
Don't
come
come
a knocking.
Don't come a knocking. Yeah. And then it cuts to
Jason Sudeikis looking at him kind of mad.
yeah, because it's like I think it time lapses like it says a few weeks later.
Yeah.
And he's mad as fuck, and they're talking about
The phone call.
the polls,
Yeah.
and this phone call that happened. And he's like, "Man, the polls aren't even scientific." And Jason Sudeikis is like, "Yes, it's literally math." And he's like, "Yeah, but if you turn the axis the other way," and it's like, bro.
We forgot the
It's-
title card. Was after when it's a rockin', don't come and knock.
Oh, yeah.
Oh shit! I can't believe I missed the title card.
Same.
Man,
Fuck.
I
Yeah,
did.
because it's like 62% of the people liked him before the phone call. Now
Yeah.
42% of the people don't
He's
like
like,
him.
he's like, it's not the Price is Right. You see, order.
They talk about the Price is Right a lot in this
Yeah, they
movie,
do, yeah.
but it's so it is funny because like my mom and dad fucking love that shit.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like, and then it shows where he accidentally calls that family.
Fucking Jack McBrayer.
Yeah, and he talks about
I wish I was eating Shayna pussy.
yeah,
He's like, 'cause I gotta eat my wife's cooking. I wish I was eating Shayna pussy.
and then he's like, I want us to go somewhere and do something wild, like lick each other's buttholes.
Yeah, in a Denny's bathroom.
Denny's bathroom. I was like, holy shit! And then the dad says Jesus will give him a tongue lashing, but a different
but a
kind.
different one than the kind he requested.
Yeah. and then he's like trying to do media about it and like PR control, and he's like, I've made 100,000 phone calls in my life.
Maybe out of those 100,000, maybe 1,000.
Were bad phone calls.
That's like 1%.
I put in my notes. Those odds don't sound as good as you think they do.
Yeah, they don't.
You know?
1,000 still sounds like a lot, brother.
Yeah.
Like, but
It's
And then
still
it
way
cuts-
more than it needs to be.
It cuts to Dan Aykroyd and John Lithgow
Yeah.
watching him on the TV, and he's like, he's finished. He's not going to win this.
they're like, oh, he's done. We're gonna
Yeah.
have to get somebody.
We're going to have to replace him.
And then it keeps showing him like trying to defend himself because he says, "How in the year 2012 did they still have an answering machine?"
In my notes, I put he's literally blaming the family like it's their problem,
I
like
know,
it's their
dude.
fault. He called them drunkenly.
I just wrote, "That's a wild argument."
I kind of see it though, because he talks about when they had that landline installed, they gave consent. And I was like, what?
No, they
That's
didn't.
insane.
And then it shows whether they decide that they're gonna pick what's the dad's name? Do you know?
I wrote it down somewhere.
I just know he's played by Brian Cox. I don't know his actual name
Rick-
in the movie.
No. Raymond Huggins.
Raymond
Okay.
Huggins.
So they
Senior.
decide they're gonna pick Raymond Huggins' son Marty
Huggins.
And they say, and they specifically say, "Boy, is he weird." And then it cuts to him walking downtown in like
Yeah.
the little town they live in.
Yeah, and he's walking his pugs.
And he's walking
Yeah.
those goofy ass looking pugs. You know that goofy.
I love
They're
pugs.
so
I do
goofy.
too. They're so ugly.
They are. Like, but that's what I love about him.
They're ugly. It's like it's the charm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's giving a tour, and then this is what I put the city name, Hammond, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Well, he goes into his shop and he's
Yeah.
like, "Travis, are you okay today?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm just really high."
Yeah.
I was
That
like,
guy used to be in Verizon commercials.
Yeah, all the time. Fuck, I forget his name.
Timothy Middleditch, is that him?
Middleditch, yeah.
and then they're talking about how
He started from College Humor.
Because he also looks like Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
they talk about how the 8th grade trip canceled on the tour.
Yeah.
And he's like, you only got the one person. He's like, who is it? And he's like, you know who it is. And it's like this old lady who has a big crush on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like they're on the little tour bus and she's like blowing him a kiss and stuff while he's trying to talk.
Yeah.
And then he gets called by his dad.
He's like, stop the tour, stop the tour.
He fucking slaps on the brakes.
Yeah.
And I put his dad has played Super Troopers.
Yeah.
And then he goes to his house and the door. It's oh my god! Can we even talk about the Miss Yao?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
It's like she's Asian American, but she's putting on this very thick,
like southern.
southern accent, which you can tell that like the dad Raymond has like forced her to do, so
Yeah.
that she sounds more American. It's really fucked up.
It's really fucked up.
But like she
Yeah.
gets her, she kind of gets her fuck you moment later, which is pretty funny.
But it's so funny.
like you can tell because it's
Well,
just so.
she also said that like she gets $50 extra.
She gets paid
Yeah.
$50 extra a week to sound like the way she does, and it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, and her accent's perfect.
Like
Because
she-
when you get to introduced to her, she's behind the door, so you don't know what she looks like.
Yeah.
And then she opens it, and it's like this little Asian lady, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh my god. And she says that he likes her to pay like that because it reminds him of the good old days.
Yeah, which is fucking wild.
It's-
It already shows you
yeah.
how much of an asshole this
Yeah.
dad is. And then when he goes out there, he runs into his dick older brother.
Yeah, and he chases it down and pins it down,
Tickles
starts
him.
tickling him.
Which becomes a theme of like, yeah, he fucking he's like really ticklish.
Oh, and his brother calls him a stack of cock rings.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. I've never heard that before.
Some sack of cock rings. He dick taps him.
Yeah. And then he runs to his dad, and I wrote the run.
The run.
But then he goes in the boat with his dad, and his dad tells him that the Match Brothers
want him to run.
Yeah.
for office.
And
I put a good note because he says that you look like Richard Simmons crapped out of goddamn Hobbit.
Yeah, that's what I wrote too.
yeah,
Yeah.
because he wants to make his dad proud. He said there is mathematically 0% chance of that happening. And then he tells me he looks like it.
And then he says, "Is it because I wore Crocs to Mom's funeral?"
And asked Dad if he got the calendar he sent him with the animals and people clothing, and then he says, "God, you really are a sad little fucker, aren't you?"
Because he's laughing real hard about the giraffe in high heels. And he said, I put Marty as a boomer mom. And then he says, "Boy, you really are a sad little fucker, aren't you?"
I was just thinking about the giraffe in high heels and how giraffes are already tall enough. You put them in heels.
And then it cuts to the sweatshop that the Match Brothers
Yep.
are like working with in China.
Yeah, because they're going to bring it to America. And later on we find out it's called insourcing.
Yeah, their plan is to like basically sell the entire 14th district to these Chinese companies.
Right,
But
for profit.
they're not. They're going to bring in jobs, but they're also bringing in the workers.
Exactly,
So
so
that
like-
they can pay them like shit.
Exactly. 50 cents an hour is what they say.
Yep.
Which is
'Cause,
crazy, dude.
Because they're saying that like something's the vote is going to be unpredictable, and one of them says something you don't know about American politics is
It's
if
never-
you have the money, nothing is unpredictable.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is so true.
Fuck
Yeah.
up, dude.
And then it pans like the town hall meeting.
Yep. He's getting ready to sign because he's famous for only having to sign the docket and then he's officially sworn in because he runs unopposed.
Also, while he's like showing him signing the docket, he's like trying to show Mitch. I think his name's Mitch. Is his Jason Sudeikis'
He's
sister.
trying to
Yeah.
show his dick pic.
He's trying to show him his dick pic, and
Why
he's
don't
like,
you
"Why do I
shit
want? I don't want to see that."
He said, I sent it to you, don't worry.
He was like, "Why did you do that?"
And then, but like right before he signs, Marty Huggins rolls in.
Oh no, he fucking fumbles the door.
Yeah, dude, he can't get the
Because
fucking
this whole
door.
thing is he can't open these fucking doors because I think on the way in it's a push, I think. But he pulls it.
Yeah.
And he's like, you gotta jiggle it. He's like, oh, that was rough in there.
But he declares himself for candidacy.
For the Republican ballot.
Yep.
And then he goes to leave, and Marty starts being interviewed, and he's really awkward into the camera. And this
Yeah.
is where you find out that like they know him,
Yeah, because he used to be called Tickle Shit.
'Cause he used to be called
you
Tickle
tickle him so hard he
Shits.
shit himself.
Yep.
and then he can't open the door again.
Because this time he's got to push,
He's gotta
not
push it.
pull.
And they're like, "You gotta push it. You gotta push
You
it."
gotta jiggle it.
Cam and Mitch are yelling at him to push it, and he looks at him, and he says, "Push it real good."
Push it real good.
And then he leaves.
Dude, his North Carolina accent was spot on. That's
Yeah.
because he's fucking from here.
And then I just wrote, and then I think Cam says he's gonna smoke that clown.
Yeah. And then we cut to a bunch of fucking different news people talking about how he just got on the ballot. And I was like, how much did they pay Wolf Blitzer?
And then it pans to Cam having dinner with his family, and Rose tells her kids to
Put in
put
their
their
earbuds.
earbuds in. She's gonna say some TV mature words.
Yeah.
And both kids are listening to Ass and Titties.
Ass and titties.
Yeah.
Ass and titties.
And she goes,
and
"You
big
listen-"
booty bitches.
She's like, "You listen to me, you dick dragging around a body."
Yeah, I wrote that down too. It's fucking awesome. And she's telling him how like he can't mess this election up because she wants him to be the vice president. She wants to be the second
She wants
lady.
to be, yeah.
And then he talks about how he crapped gold. Like,
Yeah. She says, "Only thing you're doing is slamming your hairy crescent roll into any piece of ass that smiles at you." And he says that his doctor thought he had Crohn's disease with how much Red Bull, Jello shots, and Goldschlager he
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, the gold slivers in.
I literally crapped gold. It's like okay. And then you get introduced to Marty's family.
Right, and I thought this was great because they're also sitting down for dinner. So it's a good way to show both families sitting down at dinner, kind of seeing what their average day of a life of them is.
Dude, I got a lot of notes on that.
Me too. Oh god. Then he talks about how he got invited to the civil brunch just to for the candidacy if they could talk and whatever. Like he thinks it's gonna. Because I think Marty thinks it's gonna be like a little thing.
Yeah.
And then it ends up being like a big. It's like a press conference.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
And then he kind of gets blindsided by it.
Tells them to put their forks down.
Yep.
Like, before all the media scrutiny gets to him, he wants everyone to
To talk and get everything out on the table.
out on the table.
And then he won't be mad.
And then the first kid, the curly haired kid,
His name's
says,
Dylan.
"Oh, his name's Dylan."
Yeah.
Okay, he says, "I said the Lord's name in vain at school,"
And
and Marty is like immediately upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I said I wasn't going to get mad, and I'm not.
And Clay says that he went to the petting zoo and
He
let a
let
goat
the
lick his penis.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh,
Why?
why?
He's like, what? Why did you? What?
And then Dylan says, "I had a beer with the biker man at the end of the street, and he let me touch his old lady's titties."
And then Clay says he likes to go to the mall and take photos of girls' skirts, and he has a whole collection of cooter shots under his
Yeah.
bed. And that's when the mom starts to be like,
Well, also the other kid, one more time, he says, "I stuck a firefly up my butthole."
He's like, why on earth would you do
He
that?
could see.
Does my farts glow?
Which honestly,
Kind of fire.
And then Clay says he shaved the dog and glued the hair to his nutsack to feel like an old man.
He's like, bro, what's
And
wrong
like,
with
at this
kids?
point, Marty is losing it. He's like, "What the fuck?"
And then
The wife goes, "I touched myself to Drew Carey on The Price is Right."
In my notes, I just put, "Oh wow, so Drew Carey took over at this point."
He's been on there for a while.
Yeah.
yeah, at that point he was on there for a couple of years.
Oh, and then like, okay,
Yeah,
that scene's
and-
fucking hilarious.
And Marty's like, "That's enough. Stop, please."
and then it's the civil brunch scene next.
Yeah.
Because then my next note just says, "Support our troops," because he keeps saying it.
And Cam gets up, or not Cam, but Marty gets up there and says, "My dad told me 2 things about speeches. 1, don't say anything about say anything bad about the Jews, and 2, always tell an interesting story." And then he tells a weird ass story about his dogs.
Yeah, I thought he was going to relate it back to something. No, it's just some story about how about his dogs fight under the sofa because his wife leaves Milky Ways there.
The Milky Way's covered in hamburger helper. He specifically says that. And then he's like, "Yeah, you know, pancake will be underneath," or pound cake and muffins.
Yeah.
Pound cake will be underneath there, and muffins will be just barking at him like, "What are you doing down there in the Milky Ways?" And he's like, and then he'll say, pound cake will bark back like, "Leave me alone. I like it down here with the Milky Ways." And then he finishes his story and he just stops
And
talking.
he says, "That's my story."
"That's my story."
And then in my notes, I put, "No one cares about your dog under the sofa story."
And then Cam has like he gets up and he's like, "Well, let me introduce you to my opponent, Marty." And it's like this
He's got the whole slideshow.
Yeah.
And he's like, Marty was a fat kid who went to fat camp,
Yeah.
and he was in an a cappella group. And then he talks about his wife Mitzi and how his wife Mitzi proposed to him 6 times before
she said yes.
Before he
Yeah.
said yes.
And then he says his dogs are Chinese dogs.
Yeah.
They're communist dogs.
The communist dogs. And then he says Marty works out at Curbs, which is a place for
female, overweight female,
plus size women.
plus-size women.
who work out.
Yeah, like it's just him with their exercise ball.
And then he leans over to Marty and says, "Welcome to the fucking show."
Dude, that's an
fucking
awesome
show.
fucking line. Welcome to the fucking show. And then right after Marty and Mitzi are walking out, and they get in their car, and no, it's just Marty. It's not Marty and Mitzi.
Because you can see the guy following him too behind him, and then
Yeah.
he gets in the car and he bangs on the window. He's like, "It's a fucking American dogs!"
He gets, "Get some American dogs, you coming!"
And then that's when you're introduced to the campaign manager, Tim Wally, because he just pops up in the fucking back seat.
And he says, "I'm here to make you not suck."
It's like his tagline.
And then they go home, and he's like, "We have to replace your dogs with better dogs." And it's like a golden retriever and a
And
chocolate
chocolate
lab.
Chocolate lab.
And the names are like Scout and Sergeant or something
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
And he's like, "Sit!" And they both like sit.
And then
he's
he's
like-
give the whole family a makeover.
Well, he also says, "What am I gonna do about my pugs?" And he's like, "Have them put down humanely."
And his face of the pug's like, "Rrr."
And then Salute Your Solution by the Raconteurs plays.
Yeah,
in the
he has
background.
like basically has to change his whole lifestyle. He gets a makeover.
He tells him that he has 20% likability, but people are saying that he seems odd, clammy, and possibly Serbian. It's like, what?
I see it.
And they also say he looks like a gnome.
I can see
He
that.
seemed really offended by that one. He was
Yeah.
like, "What? Who's saying that?" And then this is when we have 5 weeks to the election after a montage of him getting a makeover.
And he also like tells him, he's like, I need someone to hunt. Like, you got to be a hunter.
You gotta be a hunter. Are you a hunter? He's like, and like, because his, I don't know, there's something with his family too, where he like doubts it for a second.
But
But
then-
then he's like reminded of his dad. He's like, I'm a hunter.
And then Tim kind of takes a liking
Oh,
to
he
him
jabs
for
at
it.
him. He's like, "Oh yeah, you don't have it in you. Just forget about it." And he's like, "No, I'm a hunter. I can do this."
And then it's the montage of him becoming a man.
Yep.
And to be like Bert. Who's Bert?
Reynolds.
Bert. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Be like Bert.
Be like Bert.
Yeah, because he's like running on the thing and he's
Yeah.
trying to say it with some power.
Yeah.
Be a man. And then the poor and then it shows that scene of like them outside taking the family photo with the new dogs.
And then the pugs are in the window like, "Oh."
yeah, the pugs in the window watching. It's like, you little fuckers.
And then it's time for the first debate.
Yep. 5
And he-
weeks till the election.
And he's telling him, he's like, "You got to talk trash. You got to get up there and talk
Yeah,
trash."
you have to go up to Cam, look him in his eyes, shake his hands, don't let go, pull them close, and shit talk him.
Yep.
And then but Marty is really bad at shit talking.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, we're trash talk before, haven't we?
And then right before he gets out there, he's like, "Are you jacked?" And he's like, "No." And then he slaps him, and he says, "Now you're jacked."
I'm jacked. I'm jacked.
And then he goes out there.
And Cam tries to get Marty to touch his nuts.
Well, he tries to talk shit to him, and he's telling him he says his face looks like a butt.
And he's like, and Cam's like, you never trash talk before, have you? You suck at it.
He's like, "All right, my turn." And then he says,
He said, "You know what the difference between a washing machine and your mom is?" It was like whenever I pump a load.
"When I drop a load in when I drop a
load
load in the washing machine,
doesn't follow me around for 3 weeks
Yeah.
afterwards."
It's like, fuck, dude.
And Marty's like, you have some very crass words. And then he tries to get him to touch his nuts. He's like, you feel that's what nuts feel like.
Well, he also tells him that he's such a little turd that when he sits in sand, cats try to bury him. And then he tries to get him to touch his nuts.
That's what nuts feel like.
What nuts feel
And then the moderator's like, can we start? He's like, yeah, let's start.
Yeah, they're just doing it up there in front of all those people.
Because they're up there talking shit for like a good minute.
Yeah, everyone's
like,
just
we
watching
started they're shaking hands.
And then they both go to their separate podiums, and can barely see over.
Yeah.
I just wrote, "LOL, Marty is short."
And Tim's like, "Give him something to stand on."
Tim's like, we need to give him something to fucking stand on. And like they're all laughing at him. And then like he goes, the question is, how are you going to bring jobs back to the town?
And he just patriot dumps all over.
Yeah, he gives him the runaround, the politician runaround.
And then fucking Marty, when it's Marty's turn, he's like, oh, you have a minute to rebuttal. He calls him out on it. He's like, yeah, he just gave you the fucking runaround. He doesn't know that. What I'm going to do, when I say I'm going to bring jobs, I'm going to bring jobs to this. And like everyone fucking loves him.
The crowd
for it.
He
loses
says,
their mind.
the old DC dip and twirl, and he says, "Let's clean up DC. Bring your brooms, because it's a mess."
That's his tagline for his campaign. It's a mess.
Which I don't think is
I like
bad.
it. Bring your brooms because it's a mess.
It's a mess. And it shows his brother in the crowd, and his brother's like excited and stuff for him. He gets a little impressed.
And then it pans to them in the back, and his brother Trip, and some girl named Becky come talk to Marty, and she has like half a boob
tit
out.
hanging out. And like they're like shit talking to each other. And then like Tim comes to get Marty to go kiss a baby.
Yeah.
And like right before he turns around, he snaps a pic of the titty. He does it real smooth. He's like, "Pachish!" Oh, come on.
I also wanted to point out that Cam knows Becky. 'Cause he immediately calls her by her name, and it's like, "Damn, bro."
Like he really sticking in his fucking dick and anger moves.
And then they go to kiss the baby, and Cam's like, "No, that's my baby to kiss."
They start racing each other.
Yeah, they're kind of like pushing each other and roughhousing around a little bit. And then Marty
kind of pushes him back, and then he gets pretty close to the baby, and that's when Cam comes out of nowhere.
Yeah,
with a fist.
He tries to punch Marty, but accidentally punches the baby.
Like Marty sees him and he dips down, he fucking punches the baby, and fucking it's like slow motion.
It's like the Rocky punch,
yeah,
bro. Yeah,
it's
it's awesome.
like a CGI baby.
Yeah, it spits out his fucking pacifier. And I specifically remember this from the trailer. Like, that was the one thing I remembered about this movie.
Same.
That baby took a fucking shot.
Yeah, dude.
Yep.
I love later you see him. He's got a fucking
He's
black
got a
eye.
giant bruise on his fucking head. That'd kill that baby.
Yeah, it probably would have.
Probably.
Then there's a news montage after the baby punching incident, and Marty is up 11% in the polls.
Yeah,
which that's a huge fucking jump in the polls.
Yeah, just
Well,
because he didn't
baby.
punch a baby.
Yeah.
And then he's talking about the baby, and he's like, "That baby had an iron jaw."
Is no one gonna ask me how my fist felt after punching that iron-like jaw of that baby?
Yeah.
They're talking to the ad agency guy too.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh yeah. He's like, we showed this thing, and it's talking about like how men need to vote for him.
Yeah,
And he's like, it was great with the numbers for men, but horrible for women.
Yeah, because they got to turn the negatives into the positives, and they show Shayna and how hot she is,
Yeah.
and that's his mistress, and everybody's gonna be like, "Hell
horrible.
yeah."
It's great for men, but he said it's doing horrible numbers with the women.
Because it also shows him with Bill Clinton and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
It's like, oh god,
I forgot that it just recently happened with Schwarzenegger. That's crazy.
Yeah, dude.
Kim also says that like him thinking about the baby makes him so mad he wishes he could punch that baby
Yeah,
again.
dude. And then they also have a commercial
where was Marty on 9/11?
Yeah, in the facial hair commercial, they accuse him of being Taliban.
Yeah, who else has a facial hair? The Taliban or an Al Qaeda.
Yeah.
Is he a Taliban or an Al Qaeda? I was like, you can't be an Al Qaeda. That's not a thing.
And then it shows them
That's an organization.
it shows them trying to collect money for their campaign, champagne, Cam and his wife, and they're with like this wealthy businessman.
Yeah, he's like, I'll give you 100,000.
500,000.
500,000, my bad.
And then he's like, for $1 million, you can have my wife. You know?
And she's like, for $1.5 million, you can have my cousin too.
Yeah. And then also they mentioned that Cam Brady totally fucked a man in college.
Yeah. Then they kind of just skipped over it like it didn't happen.
Yeah, I just brushed over that real fast, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
I think it's funny too because Cam's like, I don't know if you want her cousin. and then so he's gonna back him, but like he's like so because after the man thing, he's like, so we're clear, this conversation never happened.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to 4 weeks to the election.
And then they're at another like
Debate.
I put another debate or could be a public forum.
Yeah.
because he keeps getting asked questions
By
and-
people of the town, like so it's not really like
Yeah.
it's not a moderated debate, so it might be a forum.
But he avoids the questions, like
Yeah.
how to bring in jobs. He just avoids it and immediately shits on Marty.
Yeah.
Right. It says he's a Taliban because he has a mustache.
He's like, where were you on 9/11? It's a simple question. And then that's when Marty comes back at him with like, he's like, oh yeah, you're a God-loving Christian. When's the last time you went to church? He's like,
Yeah, because he also says Jesus also had a mustache.
Yeah. And he's
I was like, wait, what?
well, he brings up how Jesus is like the best American ever, or something.
And I was like, buddy, that's not.
I wrote Jesus wasn't American, but also hell yeah.
And then Marty questions if Cam knows the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah, because he says he hasn't been to church in 9 months. He says that. He says
Yeah.
that Cam hasn't been to church in 9 months. And then he asks if he can say the Lord's Prayer, and that shit is hilarious.
Because everyone in the crowd's like, yeah, let him do it.
Because Mitch is charading it. And
Yeah.
he's like, everybody close your eyes.
And he's like coming. He's like
Yeah.
mid-gesturing coming. He's like, thy kingdom, come.
Come. And then he talks about cabooses. And then it's just that, like him fumbling through that, and then it proves that he doesn't know it. And then I just write Cam Brady is a mess, but then he goes and grabs Marty, and he says, "You want a holy war, little man? You got one."
It reminded me of Scott Hall when he showed up at WCW. You want a war? You're gonna get one.
Yeah. Because then like they keep going back and forth on the mics, and then Cam gets up to the mic. He's like, I was the last one to say something.
Yeah.
Like,
Support our troops.
I was the last person to say something.
And then it shows like
It shows him going. It shows him going back to church with the snakes.
well, first it shows him in a choir.
Yeah.
And then it shows
Because he's in like a very like a religious church, and then he's in like one of them backwoodsy tent churches.
well, also,
revival church.
Marty is in a
Synagogue.
synagogue. He's like, I haven't worn a Yamaha in a long time.
Yeah, he's like, this is my first time wearing a Yamaha. And they all just look at him. He's like, how do you say get the brooms? Or
in Hebrew.
Yeah, in Hebrew.
Yeah.
Right. And then it shows him in the
Snake Church is
Snake
what I put.
Church. Yeah.
Because it's like one of those old tent revival churches.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like, if you believe, they won't bite you.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. But
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Agreed.
And I put Cam gets bit and screams, fucking
Son of a fuck!
fucking cunt ass serpent bit me!
A serpent bit me.
Jam a
Lit spark up my dick hole.
staple my tits to my balls and do sit
And
ups.
then sit-ups, I had that one too.
And they're all just like looking at him.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh well, it bit you. You don't have to love it, Jesus." And he's like, "No, I'm good. I'm
healed.
I'm healed. It's a miracle."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh shit!" They start believing it again, and then like he's like fucking loopy and
His arms
what's the
swelling
what's
up.
the Dacus' character's name?
Mitch.
again?
Mitch.
Mitch is like, "You don't look so good. We need to get you out of here now." And then he fucking jumps out the
Jumps out the
window.
fucking
Yeah. And then it shows him in the hospital in a wheelchair, and his arm is huge.
swole, but not in a good way.
He's like, "We gotta get you home."
But he goes up 2 points in
Yeah.
the polls, you
Yeah.
find out. So he's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Like,
And Marty, in the pans of Marty and his wife talking, and Mitzi's her name, asks for a night like they used to have before all the politics.
yeah. And they have a nice family night. Like
Little
they're-
family time. They're eating junk food, dancing in the living room.
and there's like shooting Nerf guns or whatever. They're kind of like Nerf guns. They're not actually
Yeah.
Nerf guns.
Yeah. And then Tim walks in and yells at him.
Yeah, Tim
It's-
shows up drunk as fuck.
You're playing hee-haw with the fuck around gang.
I wrote that too.
You need to be kicking Cam's balls in every day, and I get you playing
the fuck around
gang.
gang. And then his wife's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I gotta win."
Yeah, and he's like, this dog can hunt.
Yeah, because my note just says Missy's being a real cunt about it.
She is. On it.
Like, do you want your husband to win or not, you fuck?
I think I feel it. I think I feel a rant. Woo! Okay, it's gone. But yeah, so she's like, I'm gonna take the kids to my mom's house for the night. And
He's
it's
like,
like,
"That's fine. I need to win."
yeah. And then it shows Cam at his house, and his son comes in and talks to him.
Yeah, it says he's going to run for class president.
And he's like, "Oh, well, like what all things you gonna try to accomplish?"
What platform are you gonna run on? He's like, "Oh, I don't know, but I started a rumor that my opponent
Has a vagina.
has a vagina." Yeah, and it's like,
and he's like, "When it all costs, that's what you taught me, right, Dad?"
and then
And he's
Cam-
like, "Yeah," like you can tell he's kind of dejected. He's like, "Oh man, is that what I'm teaching my son to
well,
do?"
he grows a conscience right there, like
Yeah.
for a little bit.
Yeah, fuck, dude.
Because he sees like the error of his ways.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Marty's house to see Marty, and I
Yeah.
guess it's the same night because the family's not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also took a little note because Marty's wearing an ECU
Yeah,
jersey.
I put my notes.
Yeah.
Oh boy, East Carolina, James probably came.
Yeah. ECU jersey, let's fucking go. Hey man, let me be excited.
Oh yeah, you're good.
How are they on their sports? Are they
That's a good
good or are
question.
they kind of
They're
bad?
not good in football.
Okay. All the one sport everyone cares about, they suck at.
Yeah. But then, like Cam shows up to his house, and
And then they share a drink. He's like, "I just want to talk and try and put some of this dirtiness behind us
yeah.
Yeah, and there's like a flashback to when Cam was younger and he ran for class president.
to get rid of the jungle
Get
gym."
rid of the jungle gym.
They also talk about the pugs because they're just staring them down.
He's like,
Yeah.
"Are they all right?"
And
He's
he's
like, "They
like,
just do that." He's like, "Did they ever go to another room?" He's like, "No, they just sit there."
I like them around. And he says that they're bred like that so they can take down lions.
That's not true.
And he said, worth the Google. He's like, I don't believe you.
It's worth Google. You should Google it.
And then they talk about Jack the Ripper, the jungle gym that
Yeah.
cut him up. And
Yeah.
Cam Brady shows a scar on his arm.
Yeah.
And he talks about how like it got him and he wanted to get rid of that thing and he was able to get rid of it.
And then he ran. He got elected. They were able to tear it down.
Yep.
Yep.
And then right after that, he crushes the rest of his bourbon and he
Yeah.
throws the glass
Into
into
the
the
fucking
fire.
fireplace.
I was like, oh, it's fucking awesome.
It's manly as fuck.
I know. And then he goes to get in his car, and Marty's like, "Are you okay?" And he's like clearly drunk off
Oh,
this fucking.
yeah. He's like,
And
yeah, I'm
you,
fine.
You can tell that Marty knows.
And Marty's like, "Oh, okay." And I really think though that Marty isn't gonna do anything.
And then Tim is just
And
like,
until Tim comes and peer pressures him,
he's like,
you know what you have
he's
to
like,
do.
do it.
Tim's like, "You know what you have to do." And then he
I'd like to
fucking
report a drunken driver.
calls him in, and I just wrote, "Marty has succumbed to playing dirty."
Yeah. You want a holy war, little man?
Yeah.
Because Cam gets pulled over and he tries to bribe the cop.
Yeah.
He rolls the window down
with 100. He's like, "Oh, here you go."
He's got the 100 and he says, "In God we
In
must."
God we must.
And then he's like, "Sir, you're gonna have to get out."
Also, I like the gag of the outside of his car is like his whole body with
Yeah.
his foot propped
And
up.
he looks like, he looks so nice in that picture, and then he rolls it down. He's clearly drunk as fuck.
He's like,
Yeah.
"Eh."
And the cop asks him, like, how much have you had to drink? And he's like, "Oh, I've had 5 or 6.
He's like, "I have 4 or 5 malt scotches."
Yeah.
He's like, that's a lie. I'm going to have to ask you to get out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to take a breathalyzer. He's like, "Yeah, no problem."
And then he runs away.
And he screamed, tries to catch me, Ranger Rick.
And then he steals the cop car.
And then he says, when he's in the car and he's driving, he says, "This was a great idea. I'm home free."
I'm home free, and then he crashes into a cow.
And then it's
That whole scene, like we laugh about it and like talk, but like it doesn't do it justice. That scene's fucking hilarious.
No, this is so fucking funny. It is so fucking funny.
Trying to catch me, Ranger Rick.
And then it's another like kind of forum, I guess, because they're standing on.
It's 14 days to the election.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I tracked every one of those when it was on.
because they're like on like an open floor and they're
Yeah.
surrounded
Yeah.
by seats.
Yeah.
And they're talking. And this is whenever he brings up
Rainbow Land.
Rainbow Land. Marty brings up Rainbow Land.
It's like, this is like a 5-page doctrine that he wrote about Rainbow Land, about a fictional land of Rainbow Land.
And he's like, "I wrote that in the 2nd grade."
He's like fucking about talking about like how you pay with fucking I can't remember, but
Well, it's a bear giving gold to a leprechaun.
yeah. And he's
Yeah.
like, "That sounds pretty communist to me."
And everything is free. And he
Yeah.
says, "It sounds like communist ideals to me."
Yeah. Bro, I wrote that when I was in 2nd grade.
He's like, "I was 8.
It's an imaginary fucking land.
Rainbow Land is a fictitious place."
Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like if that's how like the presidential elections were, I'd probably watch more of the
Same.
debates.
Dude, I would watch debates for sure.
Like, especially they're dropping f-bombs on live TV, bro. I'd watch
And
it.
then everybody gets riled up, and there's that dude who's like, "You ain't gonna make me live in Rainbow Land." And
Can't
then,
make me live in Rainbow Lane.
and then everybody starts fighting.
Yeah.
And then it
Cam
shows
tackles Marty.
Cam tackles Marty.
Well, they make it. Well, they both make it look like they're going to because Tim pushes him towards him because you can tell he's starting to get pissed. And
Well, he's looking at him, and Cam's like, "What's he saying to me?"
yeah. And then Tim pushes him forward so that way it looks like he fell on, but like it was just Cam. And then they get up, and then fucking Cam goes for another punch, and he punches a fucking dog.
Punches a
Well,
dog.
before that, Cam tries to tickle Marty, and Marty grabs.
Oh yeah, he's going to shit to see if it's fucking real.
Really,
Yeah.
Marty grabs Cam's hair,
Yeah.
and that's when he throws the punch.
Yeah.
And
Punches the
hits
fucking dog.
And it was an acting dog.
Yeah, it
apparently.
was a dog from like a movie.
Yeah. And then another news montage happens of him punching the dog.
Yeah.
And then Cam's wife leaves him.
Takes the kids and leaves.
Yep.
If I had a nickel for every time Will Ferrell was in a movie and his hot blonde wife leaves him, I'd have 2 nickels.
I'd have 2 nickels.
Yeah.
Yep. Damn right.
Except this wife takes the kids.
Yeah.
The other wife is like, oh, you're on your own.
The other wife just kicked him and the kids out.
Yeah.
And she also leaves listening to Ass and Titties.
Ass and
Yeah,
titties.
ass and titties.
And then they leave, and then it shows where Marty has where his smear campaign is him taking Cam Jr. out
Yeah.
on like a it's
Yeah,
kind of a
he's
weird
like,
scene.
It's fucked. I was like,
Yeah.
he's like, they're like filming from the bushes too. He's like, you can call me dad if you want to. I know
Yeah.
your dad doesn't do
Because at the end of it,
things like that.
at
He's
the
like,
end-
yeah, dad.
and he says, "I regretfully approve this
Yeah.
message."
At least he feels bad. And then he's like, oh, he's just my son. I'm gonna fuck his wife.
Dude, yeah, bro. Cam's gonna fuck his wife and put it on TV.
and
Mitch is like,
Mitch is like,
we can't do that.
You can do one of those 2 things, but
I don't know
you
about that. I don't know
definitely
about the
can't
second
definitely do the second
He
one.
says, first part, maybe, but second part, not so much. And then he says, "You get my son to call you daddy, I'll fuck your wife."
That's the rules.
And then he says, "What are you doing? Taking this out of a book of bad ideas?" And he's like, "No, it's a book of good ideas." And one page says, "You get my son calls you daddy." You turn the page over.
I fuck your wife.
Your wife.
And he's going fucking berserk.
And then it shows it's that night, and Mitzi's at home by
Watching
herself,
Price is Right.
and she's smoking a cigarette because she just fucking got off the Drew Carey. There's no doubt in my mind that's why she's doing that. And Cam shows up, and he starts rizzing up Mitzi at the
Yep.
door, being all.
She's
smooth.
already kind of in heat. Like,
Yeah, she is.
All she needed was a match.
Yeah, and he's talking to her, and he's like, "What's something that you love?" And she's like, "I love owls."
I love owls.
He's like, yeah, they're cool.
And then the fucking pugs are sitting there just staring at him. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna let them
I'm
out."
gonna
real
let them
fast."
out.
He kind of kicks him out the front
He's like,
door.
get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
And then he goes back in there, and he's laying it down real thick.
Yeah.
And he's like, "My heart is beating like a phone in the dryer."
like a phone book in the dryer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
And he kisses her.
he kisses her,
Yeah.
and
Gives
she
her-
immediately jumps his bones.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
He's like, I wanna do you and put your head in the freezer.
No, she says she wants
Oh
him.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
like, that's a little weird, but okay.
Well, he was like, he's like, "Isn't your freezer standing?" She's like, "I can get a stool."
Yeah, because she wants to get I want you to stick my head in the freezer and do me from behind.
Like,
Yeah,
okay.
Mitzi's a fucking slut. Fuck her.
But then he takes the whole thing.
Yeah.
He
And then,
records it and turns it into an ad and shows Mitch, "I'm Cam Brady, and I seductively approve this message."
She's like laying on the floor.
Mitch is like, "You can't show that. That's pornography."
He's like, "You've gone crazy," and then he just
He's like, "I didn't sign up for this."
he loses it.
Yeah.
Cam loses it in his office. I only took one quote from this.
So did I.
But he says, "My feet are taped to the bicycle on this one. I refuse to lose."
Yeah.
He was like-
because then he you go ahead and do your because mine's towards the edge.
Because he was like, "Oh, what did you sign up for, Mitch? The big fat pussy who's too afraid to do what it takes to win club?"
And then because when he gets so angry, he starts being incoherent. And the one note I took, he just says, "Feed a lot of booby." I was like, what the fuck does that
He
mean?
also says, "I'm crazy because I refuse to lose."
And then he fires Mitch. He said, "Any monkey can do your job." And then Mitch is like, "Well, I
Mitch is like, "I'm disappointed in you."
Yeah,
he
Mitch tells him
leaves.
he's disappointed in him.
It's kind of fucking sad. Like, damn, man,
Yeah.
like he gets it.
Well, I think that's probably they've probably been together the whole time he's been in office.
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm disappointed in you,
four
man."
terms.
And then he just grabs some random intern and he's
Yeah.
like, "You're running the campaign
And
now."
he fires him for being a nerd.
And
he fires him for doing the job.
Yeah, he starts bringing up like
He's like, I got some
NAFTA
really
and
good
his
ideas
jobs.
for campaigns we can run on. He's like, you get the fuck out.
Yeah.
He's like, where'd you go to school?
And he goes, "What'd you major in?" He goes, "Sports journalism." And he goes, "You're hired."
You're running the campaign. I was like, oh, really? He's like, yeah.
He's like, "Take this ad to the station."
Yeah, and you can tell he's a yes man.
Yeah, and then you get another news montage where they're talking about it, and
Yeah.
Cam gets a fucking
He actually
bump.
got like a 2% bump. It's like, oh, that
Crazy.
actually fucking worked.
And then it
Yeah.
shows Marty chastising his wife.
Yeah,
for
because
what she
he found his pugs at a park near the airport Denny's.
did. Yep, she deserves it.
Yeah.
She deserves worse.
Marty tells Mitzi that Tim said he needs to kick her out or he'll look weak.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's just sitting there eating cereal like in the kitchen.
Like he lives
watching
there
them.
now, yeah.
And she says, "When did Tim become part of this family?" And it's like, well, you don't get a say right now anyway.
Yeah, right?
Fucker.
Because she says you should have never entered this race, and he says you should have never let Cam Brady enter you.
Yeah,
And she said, who talks like that?
I put roasted.
Don't feel bad, Marty. She is an adulterer.
And then after she leaves, Tim goes, "You're out of Honey Nut Cheerios."
Just adds insult to injury.
And then it shows like the classic, like the dude out there hunting.
Yeah.
You know, the politician out there hunting.
He mentions a couple times how he hunts in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Marty shows up,
Well, he's telling his new campaign manager how he bought a dead deer
and they're
to
gonna
pretend like he
put it
got
on
one.
ice.
Yeah.
He's like, when I yell,
Black Hawk down.
I'm gonna shoot and yell Black Hawk down. You
Yeah.
go get the deer.
But then
You'll know the signal.
Marty shows up
He
and
just fucking
Fucking
shoots
just
him
shoots
in
him.
the leg.
fucking Dick Cheney Huggins over here.
he fucking shoots him and then leaves.
Like fucking badass because he walks up. Oh hey, there he is. Sorry about your wife. I had to. Bow. He's like, oh god, you fucking shot me.
And
in
he
the
goes,
leg."
Black Hawk down! Black Hawk down! And then one of the people that are watching goes, way to go, Marty!
And then it's quickly like no one would like speak out against him. Like no one would say that he didn't do it out of self-defense.
Yeah.
And because then it's like he goes to go talk to the Match Brothers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
his dad fucking tells him he's so proud
Yeah,
of him.
I was like,
Finally.
my dad is finally proud of him.
He's like, oh, well, if it just took me shooting somebody,
I would've done that a lot sooner.
And it said no charges were made because no one wanted to testify, and he is up 12 points in the polls.
Yeah.
Marty is probably going to win.
Yeah.
But then this is when he finds out what the Match Brothers are thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where they're
and
going to
then-
bring in the 14th district will belong to China, and that's when they talk about the insourcing.
Yeah, they're gonna call it
Yeah.
insourcing. And also, that's a dumb name. It's just the opposite of outsourcing.
Yep.
Yeah, like Marty is not having it.
No,
Yeah.
he's not okay with what they're doing, so he's like, I'm not gonna do this.
He said he literally he's like, no, I will not do that.
And then he goes to leave, and he can't open that fucking
You
door.
gotta
either.
jiggle it.
You gotta jiggle it. You gotta jiggle it. And then he leaves, and they're like, "Do we kill him?" And his dad like kind of shrugs his shoulders, like he's not against them killing
Yeah.
him, which I thought was hilarious.
Before that, in my notes, I put Doors hate this man.
Because I got a lot of notes on this scene for some reason. But Marty says he's not going to be known as the congressman that sold out.
His district of China.
Yeah. And then says his dad was never there for him, but this town was, and knows his dad was cheating on his mom with a lady that looked like Dog the Bounty Hunter.
It was really heartfelt too when he's like, dude, like I'm not. When he's talking about, it's like
Yeah.
you never liked me, you never stood up for me. I was like, it's very sweet.
And then I was like, dude drops a killer promo, then looks like a complete goof when he can't open the door. And that's when Wade asks if he should kill him.
And then the Match Brothers are like, "Well, the answer that we've needed has been sitting there in front of us this whole
That's
time."
Right, which I don't know why they didn't do that in the first place.
I don't
They should
either.
just went to him, I'm sure Cam would have went along with it.
He wouldn't
Yeah,
have cared.
because
Yeah.
it pans to Cam crying in the shower.
No,
Yeah.
well, he's like, "I'm not gonna cry.
I'm not gonna
I'm not gonna cry."
And then Tim shows up behind him. He's like, "Hey, I'm here to make you not suck."
Yeah.
Same thing he told Marty.
And then it cuts to like
A
this.
super cool fucking pep rally.
Yeah, he's got fucking cheerleaders, hot cheerleaders, and a
Fireworks.
band, and the pyro.
And then he comes down from a wire playing a fucking guitar.
Fucking Keytar. Cam Brady has a sweet entrance with Keytar.
And then his wife shows back up, and she makes sure to tell him, "Oh, we're not back together. The Mosh Brothers paid me
50 grand
to be here."
Yep. And then they also have like signs of Marty back there where Marty's like the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's just like this whole little thing, and then you find out that Marty is 8 points down.
Yep.
Yeah. And Marty, because he walks back into his little office.
He's in his little tourist
Yeah.
place.
And he says they're getting their tushes handed to him. That's when Mitzi shows up and apologizes to him, and he also apologizes.
Which I guess, he did neglect her.
Yeah.
But I feel like he wasn't neglecting her long enough for her to fucking cheat on him.
Yeah.
is my
Agreed.
point. But
then
whatever.
Mitzi pumps him up to save the town,
Yeah,
and they
and
share
then
like the
they-
weirdest fucking tongue kiss.
They get really fucking freaky in front of Middle Ditch and the other lady.
Yeah, I put Mitzi talking about saving the town gets Marty bricked. And I wrote tongue action because he
Yeah.
just gets in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh. And then it's election day.
Yep.
And Cam Brady's ahead.
Cam is available, is what I wrote. I don't know what that means.
Oh, because he's technically single because his wife leaves him because she doesn't want to be with losers.
That's true. Marty Uggins ad, and then he does the ad on election day that has him be honest.
Because he spent his last penny to get on this final to get that
To
final
get one
commercial
final
out.
one in there.
He talks about farting in an elevator, and
Because
then
he
he
tells
talks,
some weird secrets.
and then he talks about how he dressed like Lady Gaga.
And then wore for like 3
And-
straight
and he
days.
felt
Yeah.
so free that he wore it he didn't change for 2 days. And then he talks about how whenever he was a kid, his brother played a joke on him that you masturbate with your feet, and that's still
And
how
that's still how he
got-
does it to this
Yeah.
day. He's like, what? And he's like, I tell the
Dude,
truth.
how long is his dong? Because like if you gotta be some
You gotta have some big schmeat
yeah,
down
and
there.
you gotta be some
And
flexible, man. Because
Yeah.
like to think about that, you
Yeah,
know?
dude.
For all you listeners, Dylan's trying to do it.
I was about to
but it's
tell him.
failing.
Yeah, I was about to tell him. Oh god, I wish we had video.
It's a good, like I mean, like it'd probably be easier to jerk someone else off with your feet than it would be to jerk yourself off.
Yeah.
But everyone starts being honest. It's like a little.
Now
it's
Kyle's
like-
trying to do it.
Like, he's right. Fuck.
I can't.
And then it gets the whole town to tell their secrets.
They're telling secrets to each other, and it is.
And then fucking the biker guy's like, yeah, sometimes I get drunk and let kids touch my wife's tits.
Yeah, bro.
And that one couple is like, he looks at
I'm cheating on you with
the
the waiter at Denny's.
The waitress at
The
Denny's.
waitress at
Yeah.
Denny's.
She says, "Me too."
Me too.
And Jack McBrayer says he runs a meth lab out of the kid's tree fort, and
The wife says, "I'm your twin sister."
and he's like, and it pans to that old dude, which is also a meme now. He's like, he's like 90% of the time, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And then Glenn that's when it pans to the Mach brothers, and Glenn's like, I tried to kill you in your sleep 3 times.
He's like, what? He's like, oh, nothing.
And then Miss Yao kind of goes and tells off Marty's dad,
Yeah.
and she tells him how she should be proud. Like, all this time he's made it to where he should stick up for himself, and she should
And
be
the one
proud
time
of him.
the one time he does, you fucking drop him like nothing.
Yep.
Yep.
And then you find out that Marty goes up in the polls.
And he said, because she says that without the accent.
Yeah, she does to kind of stick it to
And
him.
he
a little
said,
bit.
"What did you say?" And then she goes back into the accent. I'm like, "Oh, yeehaw! You trust your son."
And then it pans back to the election, and they tell the vote count tally.
And you find
Cam
out
wins.
Cam Brady wins.
Yeah. I actually wrote down the votes.
Huh?
90,363 votes for Cam Brady, 80,365 votes for Marty Huggins.
It was
Cam
close.
wins, and then Marty says he doesn't understand because they were up 10,000 votes on the exit polls.
And then we see
And
who owns the
yeah.
election, the
machines.
The machines.
Yeah,
It's
Some
it's the
fucking
Mach
Mach.
brothers.
Yeah.
And I wrote, they cheated. Of course they did. Cam knows what he did was wrong, though. Because he sees it whenever he's
Yeah.
walking up. And because Marty's crying.
Yeah.
And Marty's crying because, like, not necessarily because he lost, but because, like, he wanted to, like, he actually wanted to help out. Like, he actually gave a shit.
Well, because that scene where they talk to each other, and he's like, "Oh, why are you so sad? Why are you so down? You ran a hell of a campaign." He's like, "I just wanted to help people."
Yeah, I wanted to save my home.
And then he talks about how when he was a kid, he also played on that jungle gym, and he got
Yeah.
like really fucked up
Yeah,
by it.
'cause,
Like,
like,
he
his
shows,
scar
he takes
comes-
his pants down, he shows his whole fucking scar. He's like, the doctor said it was the worst playground
because he said he was hung up for 2
2
days.
days.
Right.
And I was like, God dang.
And you find out that Marty voted for Cam as a kid.
Because
as a fourth
because he
grader.
believed in what he ran for.
Yep.
Yeah,
And then that changes Cam's whole tune. He's like,
yeah,
shit.
and that's when you find out that I guess technically Marty would be a year younger than Cam.
Yeah.
And then Cam
And then
goes up,
that's when it's time for Cam's acceptance
he
speech.
goes up there to
Yep.
give his speech, and while he's doing it, like, he looks at his kid and how he's been a bad father, and he looks at the baby where he punched the fucking baby and it's got that
Yeah,
big ass
big
bruise.
And then
Skin black
cuts
eye.
the dog with the cone.
Yep, and then he looks at Marty where Marty's sitting there all red-eyed, and he says, like, he won because he's a great politician. And
Right.
everybody's like, yay, you're a great politician, oh my god. But then he says,
I'm a terrible
but
congressman.
I'm a horrible
Congressman.
congressman. He's like, I don't vote or read bills. Most of the time I'm up there just on Facebook messaging old girlfriends. Like, he doesn't do shit.
Right.
Is what he says, basically.
But Marty
And then-
wants to change things.
Marty wants to
Because
change
he also
things.
Cam tells everybody the Mach brothers' plans and says Marty should be your congressman.
Yep. He says Marty is a weirdo, but Marty should be your congressman. And then he surrenders his position to Marty.
Because he withdraws from the election.
Yep.
Which, I don't know if you can do that if you already win.
I don't think you can, but you know,
I
it's
was thinking that too. I was like, huh.
movie magic.
Yeah.
I was like, can you technically forfeit if you're already winning?
All right.
And then Marty gets up there, and you know they like shake hands or whatever. And he's like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "Just get up there before I change my mind."
And then the Mosh brothers swiftly exit. Like, oh, time to go.
Because he says that he will not sell the 14th district.
Yeah, and he also says 1 minute you have your pants down, and then the next you're a U.S. congressman.
Yeah. And then it's Will Ferrell or Cam Brady, out in the crowd, and Mitch shows up, and he's like, "Mitch, you look great," and he's like, "Thanks, I started drinking again." I was like, "Hell yeah!" And then
Marty says he's going to D.C. and he's bringing his broom because it's a mess.
Because it's a mess.
I also wanted to mention that he says he's going to end daylight savings time because he hates it getting dark early.
And I was like, I don't think that's how that works.
I was like, God, I feel you though. But Marty's bringing his broom because it's a mess.
It's a mess.
And then it pans to the Mach's house, and John Goodman's on TV.
Yeah, because they're talking about how he bought fake boobs for his mistress.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, we should buy him now.
No, they're talking about how they got to get rid of him too.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, he's done. And then they get served by Miss Yao.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because she's pretending to be a Spanish woman.
Yeah.
Or like a Latina woman.
Yeah.
And they don't know. And then she opens the door and serves them.
You've been served.
A subpoena from Marty.
You've been served, fuckers.
And then,
And then 99 Revolutions by Green Day plays as the credits start.
yep, the credits start. And then there's a little
Stinger
mid-credits
there.
scene
Yeah.
where...
Where he's like, he's up against the Mosh Brothers. He's like, I know I can't get you on whatever.
like
for
all the
election
stuff they've been doing,
because
all
there's
the
no
money,
like all hearsay and you can't do that.
and it's not illegal. Like,
Yeah.
what they're doing technically isn't illegal.
right
And they're like, that's right, it is. But then he's like, but this is, and it's Tim Watley, and you find out he's a fugitive.
for aiding and abetting Tim Watley,
Yeah.
known fugitive.
He's like the Greek butcher or something.
Yeah.
Like he's fucking killed people. It's like, whoa. And then you also find out that Cam Brady is his chief of staff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which I thought was funny.
Yeah,
It's really nice being your chief of staff.
Because he keeps whispering what he wants. He keeps asking what he wants for lunch.
Yeah, because he tries to hand him like one of the paper with the picture of Tim Watley in
Yeah,
it.
he opens. He's like, "Oh no, that's the wrong one."
He says that's Chick-fil-A coupon. It's like, oh, awesome. But yeah, and then the movie ends.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the end of it. And
movie juiced.
Movie juice.
Movie juice.
Very short movie.
Very
but it
short
is
movie. It's like
Fucking funny.
it's only like an hour and...
It was an hour 25.
Yeah,
on,
hour 25.
Fandango. I said it right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Fandango.
That was that short.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't watch the extended cut, nor did I look up what the extended cut had.
I didn't know there
Same,
was
man.
one until you said it.
Yeah.
Same. But a lot of these comedies back then had
Yeah.
cuts like that.
Like an unrated version.
Yeah.
kind of
I know I
thing.
had a DVD for We're the Millers, and it came with like the theatrical version and the uncut extended version.
Extended, uncut. They always had funny names for them too,
Yeah.
depending on what movie it was.
Because Jason Sudeikis is fucking hilarious in that movie.
Yeah, We Are the Millers is good.
Yeah.
We'll do it at some point.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one good thing about movies.
Yeah, they keep coming.
And there's a fuckload of them.
Yeah.
True.
Already.
Yeah. Who wants to start off with the ratings?
I think it's your turn, D.
Okay, I'd give it a 7. Like somewhere in the ballpark of 6 and 7.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that ball. I guess I'll just go right down the middle, 6.5. Because it's good, it's funny. Chance of me rewatching it anytime soon are probably very low.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think I'll watch it again for a while, but
Yeah.
I'll definitely watch it again at some point, I'm sure.
Like it's fucking hilarious, but like overall as a movie, I don't think it's like I don't think it's either person's best movie.
It's very much
Yeah.
just in like
Yeah.
one of those movies, it's
Yeah.
funny. 7 for me.
Hell yeah.
I gave it a 7.
I
I
know.
enjoyed it.
I think I'll probably have to mirror Dylan with a 6.5 because like it's definitely one I'm probably not gonna watch again. Maybe I will at some point, but like it's gonna be so far down the road.
It's gonna be like a long time.
yeah,
Like,
it's like it's not solid enough to be a 7 just because it's
Yeah.
funny, but I
There's
go
not a lot of
with Dylan.
substance.
Yeah,
But I do like that it doesn't overstay its welcome.
I agree
with
too.
the
It doesn't
at all.
runtime.
like
Yeah.
it's the perfect
Yeah.
length I think. If
Yeah.
it was like an hour 45, it'd be just too much.
I would
Yeah.
agree too. Like that would probably bring it
Yeah.
down for me.
Yeah.
But I think that the way it's compact, it's a very easy watch.
Yeah.
I'm willing to give it a 7.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna go 8, 9, 10 by any means.
Yeah, no.
But a 7 for
Like
sure.
I think the highest this one could go is possibly like a 7.
possibly a 7,
7,
but
yeah.
I like a good
Yeah.
6.5.
Anybody else got any additional thoughts?
Nah,
That's
man.
about
Oh
it.
well. Support our troops.
America, Jesus,
Jesus,
freedom.
Freedom. Fuck yeah, dude.
Support our troops. I was the last person to say something.
All right, well, that's been another Movie Juiced. New episodes drop every Thursday morning. You can follow us on Facebook at Movie Juice, Instagram at Movie Juice Pod, Twitter at Movie Juice Pod. We are still working on our website, but you can still check it out, sign up, and get notified whenever it becomes live at www.moviejuicepod.com. If you have any suggestions and you want to reach out to us more directly instead of just commenting on things, you can email us movie suggestions at moviejuicepod@gmail.com. All links can be found on our LinkedIn page, which are on all of our social medias. We're also on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and YouTube. And you can follow me, Kyle, and James all individually on Twitter and Instagram. Our handles are in the description below. And I think if you're listening to us on Spotify and Apple and all the other places, the description is also there as well. We'll be back next week with Joker 2. I know it's a month after the movie came out. We just had plans for other things.
Scare Slam.
And then we had to do this one for...
We're also just not excited about it. We weren't excited about it. So.
We weren't excited about it.
Yeah. And,
thank you for the successful Scare Slam we got, though, guys.
Yeah.
We meant to mention that at the top.
Yeah, and we just did this one for the U.S. election that happened Tuesday.
Scare Slam. Welcome to the gym.
Like that.
But yeah, we'll be back next week with Joker 2, Folie à Deux, I think it's the full title.
Yeah, I think so. Nice way to rip off Fall Out Boy, you fucks.
Yeah.
If there's not a Fall Out Boy song in there, I'll kill it.
Yeah.
And it better be off of that album.
Yeah.
God damn it.
It stars Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
But it's funny
I
that
like-
we talk about Lady Gaga in this.
Lady Gaga.
I like some of the Gaga songs. What the fuck you know about cameras? As always, I've been Dylan.
I've been Kyle.
And I've been James. And for one last time, this has been The Juice.
Thrills the